You are listening to Breakaway. It's just about 4:20 on this beautiful Monday afternoon. I'm your guest host, Julia Caron. The NaniKana AeroSpace Science Project, based in Val d'Or, are rising stars in the aerospace universe. The members of this Abitibi-based group are the only amateur scientists that have had a chance to work with the Canadian Space Agency alongside other scientists from around the world. And this past weekend, the group launched some of their equipment using a stratospheric balloon. The Canadian Space Agency uses stratospheric balloons to test and validate new technologies developed for long-duration space missions and to perform scientific experiments in a near space environment. Are you still with me? Do you still want to know what's happening next? Well, Michel Thibodeau is here to explain in more detail how it all works. He is part of the NaniKana AeroSpace team, and we spoke to him on Breakaway last week, just before the launch, and I had to know how it went. So he joins me on the line from Val d'Or to help us find out. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, hi.
So I want to know right off the bat, how did the launch go?
Well, the launch went very good. We launched a little bit early to make sure that the winds weren't too strong during the landing. So the flight was supposed to go up at 2. We will launch around 1:20, and we had a long flight around 11 hours. Everything went well. The landing was okay, and everything was as expected.
And what does that mean? That everything went as expected? That's really the ultimate best outcome, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We're very excited with it. So we were testing communication equipment like the LoRa and the APRS on VHF frequencies, and those were they were received all the trip long. And we had a colleague too in Rouen, Nevada, and he was about 280 kilometers away, and he was receiving perfectly the signal. And well, that's why I'm telling you that everything went perfectly.
And what was that feeling like when it launched and when everything went smoothly? It was up in the air for 11 hours. Was there a moment where you were still holding your breath, being like, "What if something goes wrong? What if?"
Well, we were a lot of confidence with the team of the Agence Spatiale Canadienne and also the Agence Spatiale Européenne, which are part of the team which is launching the balloon. And we knew that it was supposed to go well because there was no wind at all and everything was calm. You should have seen that. It's incredible how big those balloons are. And comparing to the one we launched here, well, we don't have the same budget, though. And it was very, very exciting to see those huge balloons going into the air, and the launch was perfect, good timing, and, well, it was night, so you didn't see it very, very long. But during the morning, we saw the balloon. It was in the sky. It was very, very clear, and it disappeared sometime because it was too far away. But, we're receiving it, and we knew exactly where it was. So, yeah, everything was very fine.
Michel, if I remember correctly, you described the size last week of the balloon as the size of the CN Tower?
Well, yeah, I did a little mistake. It was the size of the Eiffel Tower.
Of the Eiffel Tower. Okay. It's still quite massive.
Well, it is really huge, but they use a different kind of balloons. The one we had was 100,000 cubic meters of helium, and this was considered as a small balloon because on the same campaign, they had flight with 4 times the size we had, so 400,000 cubic meters of helium, and they also have 800. So, yeah, it was considerably small, but, it's so huge.
Right, and you also mentioned the budget there, the budget you were able to have with this collaboration with the Canadian Space Agency. Can you tell us a little bit more about that budget?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's a secret, but I'll tell it to you. They use, for the flight, the normal flight, they use $200,000 helium, and the balloon, the plastic balloon itself, is worth more than $100,000. Sorry, I got I got mixed up with my numbers in English. So it's incredibly expensive, and we don't know how much it worth. But I mean, we're very fortunate to have our own places just beside them, because we don't have that kind of budget.
We talked a lot about how you guys came together, you met after a party and just all shared this interest in this field, and you've been sharing your knowledge and growing and expanding. And now you have this collaboration with the Canadian Space Agency and that sort of budget that opens up possibilities. What does the fact that this first collaboration with the Canadian Space Agency, everything went great, everything went according to plan, what does that mean for you guys for the future?
Well, they offered us a place next year, probably, or maybe in 2 years. They offered us a place because we don't occupy very much space in their things. We're so small. So they offered us a place behind, just beside them. And these person are incredible. They are very friendly. They're not complicated person. Even the Agence Spatiale Européenne is so great people. We had lunch together just beside a barbecue, and that was an incredible experience with them.
So it wasn't just necessarily sharing that technological information and that side of the launch. It was also that opportunity to meet face to face and one-on-one and exchange ideas.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't have this kind of opportunity in our life, and it was so great to have them in exchange experience, because we saw a lot of experiences. You should see them. Well, you're going to see them if you go to our Facebook page, because we have picture of that, and it's huge. Their equipment, what they put in the sky, it's so big.
I'm definitely going to go check that out, Michel. But before I let you go, what other projects do you guys have in the works for the coming weeks and months?
Well, the school is starting now, and we have a project into the secondary school. I mean, the high school in the region here, and we're starting a project to have more information to give them, and maybe build some experience with them, and maybe on this. It's kind of project now. It's not, and nothing is sure, but we're supposed to launch small experiences. Maybe this spring, next spring, in 2019. So, yeah, it's very exciting to go and share our knowledge with the young people, and to let them know that someday if you go to electronics, if you go to programming, if you go to engineering, you might work with us, and you might work with the Canadian Space Agency, and you have a big opportunity to have a good work there.
Well, Michel, it sounds like a lot of fun. I'm glad you'll be going back to the Abitibi, bringing what you've learned and sharing that with the young people there. It's been a real pleasure to meet you on the radio.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you too, and thanks for the interviews, and maybe we can have another talking next year.
We'll check in again soon, Michel. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Michel Thibodeau is part of the NaniKana AeroSpace team from Val d'Or, and that's where we reached him this afternoon. And as he mentioned, you can follow their adventures on Facebook. Just search for NaniKana AeroSpace, NaniKana AeroSpace.